All right, so hey, Dan Stein here. We are back with some breaking news. First of all, I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day, and certainly to all those fine Americans who for many, many years have sacrificed everything, including everything in the world that matters. We think of you on this special day and throughout this weekend. So have a great Memorial Day, and hope you get some grilling done too. So here with R.J. Hauman, Affairs Government Relations Director, we want to talk about what's happening on the Hill. Things to be thinking about too this Memorial Day weekend, as we've gotten an opportunity to size up what's happening in the House, fast-breaking developments. RJ was a little under the weather today, but agreed to come on camera to talk about the latest developments. So RJ, what's happening?
Well, of course, as we've been taking the message straight to you guys about this discharge petition that's happening on Capitol Hill. Again, you have a faction of pro-amnesty Republicans that are trying to force a vote on a series of about 4 amnesty bills. And this is a dangerous situation right now. Again, we're looking at potentially 26 Republicans needed to sign, 218 total need to sign. Right now, I think we're at 213, Dan. So it's a pretty dire situation.
All the Democrats have signed.
All the Democrats have, no, not all the Democrats have signed. A couple have not, but it is very close. Leadership, House Republican leadership has almost given up and said, hey, this is going to get the 218 signatures. There's nothing we can do about it. They're going to vote on amnesty. Now, they're trying to craft potentially a replacement amnesty bill to put on the floor to kind of stave off this discharge petition. But, you know, it's very troubling again right now. You know, Congress has not delivered anything to the American people when it comes to what President Trump ran on, the enforcement promises that he made, the enforcement promises that all Republicans made in 2016. They haven't delivered anything yet. The one thing on the docket seems to be amnesty.
So a small group of Republicans are going to deliver for the Democrats an amnesty bill with maybe a little border funding.
Oh, just total window dressing. So to go back into this, I know we've talked about this before on these Facebook Lives as well. Under the discharge petition, what it would do is trigger a rule called Queen of the Hill. And this is a little used procedural tool that's normally used by the minority. That's why this is so strange that you have Republicans that are bucking their party, bucking their president, and the will of the American people to advance an amnesty. So what it would do is it would trigger a series of 4 votes on 4 different amnesty bills. The first one would be the DREAM Act. Everybody knows what that is. It has been rejected for many years. An amnesty for approximately 3.5 million people with 0 trade-offs. The other bill would be the USA Act, which is the same amnesty eligibility requirements as the DREAM Act with some border security window dressing. Your drones, access roads, things like that. Stuff that really doesn't secure our border. And then the other bill as well as the Goodlatte bill, which, you know, I think we both acknowledge that, you know, that bill does have some adequate things in there.
There's a lot of good stuff. It cuts chain migration. It's got mandatory verify.
It's got enforcement.
Absolutely. If you're going to get a bill, that's the bill to get.
Right. And it is the most limited amnesty. And now here's the other thing we have to...
The thing is, though, that they're trying to weaken that.
Exactly.
Bill, right?
That's what I was about to say. Again, when we're talking about the Goodlatte bill, we're talking about it in current form. Again, the amnesty component in the Goodlatte bill right now only deals with the DACA population, people who have DACA. It's a defined amount of people.
Limited
amount of people.
Not acceptable.
Of course not. Of course not. Absolutely. The thing is with these other amnesty bills as well is, you know, we look at estimates out there, it could be 3.5 million people, but you don't know. You'll have a large amount of fraud. We don't know how many people will be eligible for it. But at least with the Goodlatte bill, you're talking about a subset of people, you know that amount. And then again, the 4th bill potentially that would be considered, you know, under this Queen of the Hill rule would be something that Speaker Ryan could bring to the floor. A lot of people think if we get to that situation, it would be a bill that mirrors the president's framework, which again was an amnesty with a path to citizenship for 1.8 million people, some modest tweaks to chain migration, elimination of the visa lottery, and a few other things. But right now, you know, again, leadership is trying. I think the route that they're going is to craft a new bill, potentially with getting the moderates on board and conservatives as well. You know, but it doesn't look like they're making any progress. They're trying to tweak the Goodlatte bill, as you mentioned, making it a little bit weaker, adjusting that ag carve-out, potentially increasing the amount of people that are eligible for the amnesty. And we're pretty engaged on this right now with leadership as well, advancing FAIR's priorities and your priorities as Congress seeks to go down this path.
So McConnell, Majority Leader in the Senate, he's weighed in on the process, and that's really some of the breaking news here.
Right.
McConnell's position is very important because if the House passes something lousy, which seems likely at this point if this discharge petition goes, what's McConnell going to do?
Well, right now, he basically came out and said, we've already went down this path. As you remember, several months ago, the Senate did consider some immigration bills. None of them hit the 60-vote threshold that was needed. As said, the Sanctuary City bill did not hit the 60-vote threshold either. So it seems unlikely that
he basically said, I don't want to waste a lot of time on something that's not going to happen, even in the
right.
Senate.
Right, of course. And they know, too. Here's the thing as well. The president will veto this.
He weighed in on it today.
He
right?
did as well.
President Trump weighed in. He said, I'm not doing this. I want the whole package.
He said,
very important.
Absolutely.
He's saying he's not going to accept DACA and wall
Mm-hmm.
funding. He says, I want everything I offered in the State of the Union.
Right.
2 million person
absolutely.
amnesty. Not
No,
so good.
he talked about chain migration, ending the lottery.
Really critical.
Building the
Mandatory
wall.
verify,
Yep.
ending chain migration. These are the two non-negotiables here.
And that's why it makes it so baffling, though, that you have Congress going down this path. If you would have told us that Republicans are considering passing an amnesty bill, I think anybody can argue that the 2016 election was a referendum on immigration. Congress had the clearest mandate to enforce our laws, secure our border, and make some fundamental changes to our immigration system. Amnesty wasn't on the platter. President Trump said he would rescind DACA on day one. The fact that he even went down that path was kind of a reversal on a key campaign promise.
Well, look, everybody who's out there listening, all of our big fans, and even a few of you SPLC loser trolls, know that his last election was all about actually getting control of our borders. So what are people supposed to believe out there who vote for members of Congress? They come to Washington, they don't get the memo.
No, absolutely.
What do they need to be doing right now? As soon as they get back from grilling, as soon as they go to the cemetery to honor their loved ones, as we all should do, and think about and remember all those people. Okay, then you come back on Tuesday, what are we doing?
Well, again, it's your civic duty, again, to weigh in on issues that are important to you.
It's what all the people who fought and died in defense of our country enabled us to do. So we need to exercise that. Those of you who haven't, now's the time.
And don't think, too, things might get quiet next week. Congress obviously takes a Memorial Day recess.
That means they're back in your district.
Right. Again, that's a great point, Dan. You can make your voice heard in the district office, here in the Washington office. Just because Congress is not in session, just because you're not hearing all these updates from us, you're not seeing breaking news sometimes on cable news and all that, you can still weigh in on the process. The staffers are still going to work. Again, we have this handy number back here, 202-883-8488. Dan will answer. Don't get alarmed. He's going to coach you through the process. You put in your zip code, and it patches you right through to your member of Congress. And there's one thing, too. We might incorporate a little something else next week. Get you guys to call congressional leadership as well. Speaker Ryan Speaker Ryan obviously is kind of a lame duck right now. Again, the Speaker's power is derived from things he can do. He can threaten.
Is it fair to ask the question, is Ryan really prepared to let a DACA amnesty go as his legacy, because he really doesn't oppose it down deep in his soul?
No, I think
he's going to be okay with the process that produces a vote that would produce a
disaster. No. I think Speaker Ryan and McCarthy, who may ascend into the speakership, and Steve Scalise as well, who may have his eye on the top spot in the House. I think they understand how bad an amnesty bill coming out of the House would be for Republican election prospects in these midterms. Again, you guys out there, again, why would you vote for Republicans when they're throwing out an amnesty there? Again, I think they do truly oppose this effort. They oppose the discharge petition. It's not the way it should be done. But again, leadership, what they can do, this might be a little inside baseball stuff up here. They have a lot of tools at their disposal to squash something like this. They can go right to one of the discharge petition signers and say, hey,
hammer.
The hammer. They can say, hey, you're not getting any campaign funds.
No money.
You can't travel on your congressional delegations. They might take away a committee spot. When Speaker Boehner almost got overthrown before Ryan ascended into the role that he supposedly didn't want, two people that voted against Boehner for Speaker, he immediately yanked their spots on two Cush committees.
Yeah, right. That's why when there's party discipline, discharge petitions like this never
don't happen
because
Correct.
It puts the Democrats in control. So either the leadership wants it to happen, or party discipline is broken down.
Right. And again, so we want you to make your voice heard next week. We'll have some resources
Clearly
for you
your
out
voices
there.
are making a difference
because
they are having a hard time getting to 218. They only need a couple more Republicans. We can tell you who those Republicans are. Go to our website, who those probable Republicans are. A couple have committed but haven't signed it yet. You want to know who those people are, let us know. We'll tell you. You can find that on the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go off your hand who the two probable ones are?
No, there's a handful. We've seen some members on there are easily identifiable. Again, they've been people that have consistently supported amnesty. Again, Jeff Denham has done this for many years, but there are some people right there that are kind of questionable. So that's why you need to call, even if you think that your member of Congress has always been reliable on immigration, you never know.
All right, well, that is the latest on what's happening up here. We all, again, hope you have a super weekend. This is R.J. Hauman, GR Director here at FAIR. I'm Dan Stein. Thank you for joining us and have a great holiday weekend.